my beloved Guruji, Dr. Balamuralikrishna sir, other dignitaries on stage and friends. It's my pleasure to be here with you this evening. As Sri Muralidharan mentioned in his introduction, I'm a big non-fan of awards normally, because normally the general public will feel very happy when they see that somebody won an award. But once we know the inner workings of how the award rackets work, it becomes much less fascinating. I conduct 2 music festivals in Kerala, one during Navaratri and one in the palace of Maharaja Swadhitirunal. Because of this, I have made a lot of enemies unintentionally, but anybody whom I don't invite, they hate me. So that is a situation. So then so many people have come forward and they have said, this year we are giving you this particular award in the name of a composer. Not even one of his compositions I would have sung. Then I tell them I have not sung any of his compositions. In what category do I qualify? No, we want to call you and make you sing his compositions, and I'd like to perform in your festival next year. So it's always like that. With Dr. Balamuralikrishna sir, I have been with him for the past 18 years. And to learn one composition from the composer directly, and not only the music, but to get his love, affection and blessings also, I don't think anything can be greater award than that. And the compositions he has composed along with the compositions of other people he has set to music, like Bhadrachal Ramadas, Sadasiva Brahmendra, Narayana Tirthar, Kaivara Amara Narayana, Maharaja Swadhitirunal, Jayadeva, the list goes on and on. In that form, I have received more than 400 awards from him directly. But officially, when I was very young, one group from Karaikudi approached me. I've never met them before or afterwards. And they said, we want to give you an award, and the award was called Isai Kadal. That was more than 20 years ago. I went, accepted the award, and those days I used to prepare a very grand biodata about myself. So those were the days. And then I would write, he has been honored with the award Isai Kadal. And before a concert, people would introduce me, and they would read out, he has been awarded with Isai Kadal. They used to say. So I have to remember this now. But these days I don't go for awards at all because of this reason. But Sri Muralidharan, I know Balamurali sir for 18 years, while I know Muralidharan sir for 25 years, and he knows Balamurali sir for 40 years. So it's a very long association. The world would be a much better place if fewer people interfered in other people's affairs, but it's human nature that we think of what other people are getting. And the same goes with awards also. I know many people who haven't got an award which they want, and each time another person gets the award, it becomes very painful. Oh, he got that award, and the value goes down a little bit. But today the situation is the opposite. The 2 people who have been awarded today, Sri B.M. Sundaram and Dr. Saraswati, I am completely aware of what Sundaram sir and Saraswati madam are doing for Balamurali sir. Sri Sundaram sir is completely aware of what I am doing and what madam is doing. And Saraswati madam is completely aware of what Sundaram sir and I am doing. So like the 3 musketeers, we can be called the 3 Muraliyas. So we share such a lot of goodwill and understanding of each other's accomplishments, and more importantly our mindset. So instead of envy or jealousy, we feel so happy, all 3 of us, that the other 2 are these 2. And I guess that's all, we're all waiting. Narasimhan sir spoke so beautifully about Balamurali sir. So many things he said, I can listen to not oru naal, but many naal of somebody speaking like this about him.
Balamuralikrishna நாரதரா ஆக்ட் பண்ணிருக்கார்.
ஆமா.
அது என்ன சொல்லல.
நிறைய ஆமா.
நீங்க சொல்லிடுங்க.
So, actually, if I start talking about Balamuralikrishna sir in detail, then the concert will get cancelled this evening. So, it has been an obsession. As I said, I have been with him for 18 years now. And normally when we are confronted with something new, whether it's a person or accomplishments, we are fascinated. And after some time with familiarity, the fascination becomes less. But with Balamurali sir, the result has been exactly the opposite. If I was fascinated with him 18 years ago, with each day my fascination for him keeps increasing. Now it's 18 times more. And there are many reasons. One, as a composer, he has created something because the weight of the treasures left to us by Sri Tyagaraja Dikshitar and Syama Shastri, Maharaja Swayutirunal at that time, that is so great that many composers afterwards also follow the same style. There is nothing wrong with that. But just like there is Carnatic music before and after Purandaradasa, there is Carnatic music before and after Tyagaraja. Definitely there is Carnatic music before and after Dr. Balamuralikrishna. This is completely keeping aside his abilities as a singer, only the mind as a composer. But unfortunately, because his abilities as a singer are so phenomenal, mostly people get blinded by him as a singer and don't pay enough attention to him as a composer. I somehow had the very, very good fortune to just log on to his compositions, compositional nerve as it were. And even last week there was a function where 82 people were honored and I sang one song. And afterwards I received so much appreciation, but more than people telling me, oh, you sang so well, they tell me, oh, what a beautiful song. And that has always been the case when I sing his compositions. I lived for several months a year outside India also. And whenever I give a concert in front of even Western people who have not heard Carnatic music, who don't know who's Tyagaraja, who don't know who's Dikshitar, if I sing a Balamurali song, instantly I can see the faces of the audience becoming bright. They don't know it is my guru, it is a contemporary person. Some energy is there, some clarity is there, some sweetness is there, some vitality. I mean, I can go on adding adjectives, but something special which one has to experience even physically. When we sing his Tilana, for example, we just feel like we can fly. So that is the difference I find is that Sri Tyagaraja, Dikshitar, they were all devotees who lived in ashrams, who expressed their devotion, their bhakti in the form of compositions. While here is a composer who is himself an ace performer. So many of his compositions are deliberately composed to be sung on stage. There is an Amritavarshini Varnam where in the Sahityam he says, I hope people will hear my singing and shout Sabash. I mean, that is the lyrics. So unapologetically he is a composer, and once we learn compositions directly from the composer, when we sing other compositions of Sri Tyagaraja, Sri Dikshitar, which have been handed over to us, many singers who don't know Sanskrit or who don't know Telugu, they would just add Sangati number 1, Sangati number 2, Sangati number 3, some of which might be quite tasteless. So then when we sing a Tyagaraja Kriti also, after learning Balamurali sir's compositions directly from himself, we will think and ask ourselves, would Tyagaraja have sung something like this? And we kind of tend to clean it up a little bit. And he is one person who is very diplomatic, very pleasant, very charming, and in a way very non-committal also. So I have asked so many questions as a disciple. Sir, how can one increase the higher range? How can one increase the lower range? How can we sustain for a longer time? How can we sing brigas with this much clarity? For everything, he will just smile and not give a very specific answer. But all these things, my lower range is getting better, higher range is getting better. So he says everything needed, it is incorporated in his compositions. Suppose we sing his Varnams or just his Chittaswarams for various compositions. They are so vital and vivid and different that when we sing Manodharma Swarams also, these ideas automatically come and make our Swaram singing more interesting. And lastly, I'd like to mention one point. Again, just by example, he has shown me that it is much better to be in the head of a new movement than to be at the tail of an old movement. Thank you very much.